Welcome back to the Chat Builds. My name is Jerome, and today we're going to start working on a cool CX500 bike I'm building for the DGR 2026. You will be able to get your hands on that bike to buy it. Profits from the bike will go to DGR, of course. Follow me along in this series, and I hope to get this bike up and running really quickly for my standards, and get some money into that pot for DGR, for men's mental health and a fight against prostate cancer. So join me on this video. Let's get started. So welcome back to my channel. I've invested in a small microphone now. I think audio should be a lot better now. But welcome to this video, and this is going to be a video on my DGR project 2026, and I'm just going to gather a few things for that. So one of this is this little cap. I will show you later. This is from K.A. Hestad, and I still have to do some work on this. Put that there. And yeah, it's all for this bike over here. So this Honda CX500, it's been here before, but I'm going to use it now to raise some money for the DGR. And I'm going to adapt this bike a little bit, make it a bit different from the rest. So I'm going to need some parts for that. Side panel, of course. And this handlebar, these are from a XT500. Today I got this KTM front fender. I'm not really sure if I'm going to use it. Maybe I'm going to cut it off a bit, but we're going to add that to this bike also. So a fender or mud guard, however you want to call it. Let's put that there. Now there's more. I need this. So mudguard, steering, and I have these shocks. These are the shocks I was going to use for my own build, but I had to abandon that project. There's an idea why I'm going to use these, because these are a lot longer than the standard shocks on that bike. So two sets of these. These are YSS shocks. They're pretty cool. I have three of these. Now I'm replacing these because when I had the bike over here, the bottle, which was actually this one, was leaking, and I tried to fix that with glue and stuff and pouring stuff down it, but it just never worked. So the engine had to come out anyway to get this replaced. I had to open up the engine. I told you this in my video where I lost all the footage. I've already done quite a lot of work on the bike, including the tires, and I'll show you that in a minute. I've got big knobby tires on them. They were not standard on this bike. And when I was opening up the bike, I had to open up the bike because there were parts from the valve that had fallen into the engine. I didn't know that happened. It only happened as soon as I only realized it when I opened the engine up to do the valve clearance checks. And one of the valve parts was gone, fell down into the engine. So in the end, I had to open up the engine just to make sure that that little screw was gone. I couldn't leave it in there in the back of my mind, knowing that there's still a screw loose in the bottom of the engine. So anyway, what I did find out, this oil separator, which is inside the engine, this piece of rubber was actually it came off, and you can't really put that back. So I replaced this oil separator inside the engine. And then I had to replace the gasket, of course. That came off, so I had to replace that. Now the paint on the bike is actually pretty good. The tank, side covers, they look really cool. The carb I've already done. The carb is actually good. It just needs a quick polish on a few parts, so we'll do that. So these are the blinkers, And I've got these right now. Show you. So these blinkers, we're going to put those here as well, same spot, and it already looks a lot nicer. And I'm going to put those on the back as well, because I really don't like these. I'm going to do the rear mudguard or fender as well. I might use this or something a bit further out, I'm not really sure. But I'm going to put the lights here, I think. Where are they? Like so. So somewhere on this frame, because this is not going to stay a dual seat. I'm going to make it a single seat, just to make it a bit more fun. This one, I can hook these up with the speedometer and no problems. But this one, it's got no there's nothing there. And it wasn't supplied with anything else. I'm not really sure how they thought I was going to do that. So I was thinking I might just swap this for that one and put this one over here, and then paint this one. I think that's the easiest way, and just swap them out, which will be different. But I've got the indicator lights in, so neutral, high beam, and indicator, and now there's nothing. Now this is a running engine, no issues. I had to take it apart, of course, like I told you. Of all the footage I've lost, of course, one of those was the setting the valve on a CX500, so I might just do that again. But there's a little hole here. There's a weep hole. I don't know if my camera can show you that. GoPros and things are not very good at close-ups, but there's a hole here, and one of these screws and nuts actually lifted out of this little rocker arm, and it fell down there, and that's why I had to open up the engine, and that's why the engine is out. Basically. Anyway, but I'm still kind of doubting where I'm going to do the paint, because this bike is going to be a bit of a like off-road thing. So who's going to worry about, I don't know, flaky paint, or maybe it's like a top layer, or I don't know. Very hard to make a decision, to be honest. All right, let me have a think about this. So the bike itself is a CX500, mid 80s. It's not been changed or anything, but there is a difference. It's got a Marco Becker CDI inside here. You can see those over here. If you flip them around, you can actually see the Marco Becker logo. So that's been altered. I've already changed the wheels and tires. So I've gone back to the first gen aluminium look, because I want to keep it a bit silverish. And I've gone for the knobby tires with a inner tire. It's got a dual brake caliper at the front with a single piston. I'm not going to change that. I'm going to change the handlebars, of course, like I told you, which is over there, to get a bit more racy look. So it's going to be a bar over here as well, and I hope it's going to bring the bar a bit higher. And I really want to change this light. I just don't like the light, but if I do change that light, I will have a problem, because there's a lot of wiring in here. So I need to address the wiring and figure out a way to get rid of that. I want to see if I can change these pegs to something a bit nicer, and I have to lengthen this side stand, of course, because the end is going to come up a bit more. So I need to put a lot longer piece here. So we need to get all this stuff on that bike, get it running, get it sold, because I'm selling it for DGR, which is really important. I'm not selling this for myself. I'll take off whatever I spent on this. Everything above that, so the actual profit, will go to the DGR. So let's see what I need to do. So DGR CX500, and I've called it Silver Shadow. To be specific, I didn't call that. The previous owner of that bike, I asked him what would the name of the bike be, because he actually gave it away. That's a cool thing for him to do. He couldn't ride the bike anymore because of health issues, so he actually gave that bike to me to give away. Now that name will come back on the bike, and I will come back to that later. But for now, let's write this down. So DGR Silver Shadow. We'll do the water bottle, handlebar. What else? Gauges, front mudguard, the rear mudguard, blinkers, engine. Let's put engine, paint, and mount. So engine painted, maybe. I don't know yet. Still in doubt. Mount it. What else? Rear shocks. Let's see. What else have I got? Oh yeah, the key eye Hestad cover. So that's this thing, the cover for the fuses. I need to sand this nicely down and paint it, and then I'm gonna fill it with this special enamel paint so we get this nice white interior. I think then we're getting pretty close. Now there is one major thing, is the headlight. All right, let's get back to this in a minute. Now, like I said, the headlight is a bit of an issue because there's a lot of electronics inside this bucket. I think it's too far backwards towards the bike, so I want it to be a bit more forward when I make these longer. And I think the light itself is a bit too big. There's two options here. No, there's one problem here, and that's where I'm going to put all these electrics. Now, I still have an NWT system, which was given to me. I could use that. So that's my question to you at the end of this video. Should I put in that system? Then I will replace all the gauges with NWT stuff, which I got a long time ago. It is legacy stuff, but it will require a major rewire of the bike. It would be pretty cool. The bike doesn't need it, so that's why I'm kind of debating it. So the headlight is a question mark at this point. But let me know in the comments, should I put an NWT system into this bike or leave it as is and figure something else out for this headlight. Yeah, so this is the list I think that I'll need to do for this bike. Let's just tick the boxes and get started somewhere. I think for now we're gonna put in the water bottle and remove the handlebar. Maybe have a go at the rear shocks, mounting those, and then from that we'll move on. Game plan ready. Okay, so this is the new shock installed, and as you can see, it can't reach it, so I need to raise it with the hoist. Just a bit more, that should do it. So we've got a lot more clearance here now, as you can see. So that's a cool effect. Yeah, that's a good choice, I think. So this is a rack. If you've seen my video on the GL500 I did for my dad, I actually had this laying around. So that's an option. Now obviously it didn't fit on my GL. Yeah, GL500. But I could make it fit here. I think we could do that. Like, that would be pretty cool actually. Maybe cut it somewhere. It's going to be higher up then. Or bend this back. All right, so this is an option. Or the other option is this one, which is not bad either. And that does come up with the handlebar thingy pretty good. Yeah, we're going to use this. Definitely going to use this. So I can mount it here-ish. Maybe put something down here. And I'll put the blinkers here in the frame, I think. This is cool. We're going to do this. Okay, so another job done. Water bottle can go side stand. So I guess you're all aware of the causes for the DGR, because that's what the bike is for. It's mental health for men also, which is one of the main reasons, and the DGR as well. I'm a emergency worker, EMT, emergency technician in Holland or America, ambulance chauffeur, however you want to call it. So I've seen my fair share of stuff, and sometimes that can be a bit too much. And unfortunately, I've had colleagues, maybe not some for that reason, for work, but others for personal reasons, they took their lives. And there should be help for those people. And that's why I do this, to hopefully support programs to prevent those things for emergency workers or anybody, male or female or whatever you want to call yourself. But that's why I do all the DGR stuff. And of course, prostate cancer is one of the biggest killers for men of middle age like myself. I've seen those a lot in my work as well. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, and that's why I hope you're gonna buy this bike. All right, the dimensions of the handlebars are totally different. It's a bit higher, which I really hoped for. I hope I'm not gonna get into trouble with cables and stuff, but that's a good reason to find out. And now I've got this thing in the middle. So let's mount this CX500 thing. I like it. I know I like it. It's different for sure. This was a very good choice, but I'm going to get into trouble with these wires, I think. Everything's too short now. This may be a problem. I do have this, which is the NWT Value S unit. It comes with these switches, and I could use those as well, of course, on the bike. I don't know where goes where, but that will require a rewiring of the bike. And somewhere to put that. Okay, handlebar is on as well, sort of. I am going to take it away. NWTX21 Value S. I did take off a lot of stuff from the board, but I put basically more stuff on it again. So I'm moving forward, but just running into more things as this thing progresses. I am liking where this is going. All right, see you in the next video.